I'm just back after, I don't know, about 6 or 7 hours of a journey into infinity via the spirit of mushrooms. And this ride, I mean, it was a ride. I have absolutely no words. I went through the most suffering, despair, lifetimes of suffering, eternity of suffering. And I kept asking myself, how is this spiritual? How is this spiritual? I was asking the spirit of the mushroom. I was asking God, how is this spiritual? Because it felt like I was dying, and it felt like I was losing my whole mind for eternity. I didn't understand who I was, what anything was, where I was, when I was. I couldn't control my body properly. I couldn't control anything. I was in infinity and eternity, and I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel love. I didn't feel gratitude. I felt confusion, despair, extreme levels of fear, and I guess anxiety and I definitely felt like I was losing my mind. I was going through psychosis. I was gonna become one of those cases that people talked about. I was gonna prove the skeptics right, some among my friends. Yeah, I was literally, I lost my mind. I lost my mind. And it wasn't a comfortable feeling. It wasn't any type of divine love involved. It was just infinity mocking me and telling me, like, you have no idea. You have not even the slightest idea. You think healing and enlightenment is supposed to be like this mushy little ride. Well, let me show you, sir. Let me show you infinity. Infinity and eternity. And let me just present to you what it feels to be absolutely ungrounded in that. Because I had no sense of grounding. I was just like, it felt like I was in a washing machine or in a dry cleaner inside the thing. It felt like that. And I was like, everything like my hands, my arms, my feet was deformed. Every sense of my body was kind of like, it was feeling gross and deformed, and I felt like I was like this beast, and I was like just melting away in infinity, and I've never felt so disgusted by myself, and like I was disgusted by everything around me. Like I tried to eat some banana to like make the sugar just um kind of like slow down or take the edge off of the trip, but like the banana looks so fucking disgusting to me. Like everything about reality was gross, was distorted. Like it felt so wow, it felt like a horror movie. Like I was in a horror movie. I felt like I was in hell. uh, wow, it's absolutely indescribable. And I just kept asking myself, I felt like I was stuck in eternity of suffering, hell. And I was just asking over and over, how is this spiritual? What's the lesson from this? What is this teaching me? How is this healing me? How is this giving me, getting me closer to God? Because I've never felt so far away from at least divine love. I felt the divine sovereign energy. Like I felt infinity. I felt how absolutely powerless and insignificant I was in the totality of everything as an ego and as a body. But I also felt my consciousness just like I could just, I was just able to, I don't know, like travel or project or whatever. But it never cut through to the actual love, to the actual peace, to the actual harmony or healing. I just got the pain, I just got the suffering, I just got the despair, confusion, utter just, I don't know, like powerlessness. And my ego got a real pounding from God. And it felt like divine punishment or whatever. A very, very, very strong divine lesson, which I have no at all understanding of what the point was. At all. I'm just so confused, and I've never felt any type of like I was in psychosis, I was in hell, I was in absolute hysteria. I was in I didn't really know who I was, or it was very hard for me to like grasp anything on my regular um, identity or relationships or any. I was just in infinity and in eternity, and again, like I felt very lost in that, and I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel love, and I was trying to like I was just over and over asking, what's the spiritual side of this? What is spiritual about this. I really sincerely took the mushrooms because I wanted them to show me something that was healing for me, and that could give me some sort of expansive or progression spiritually. But this, man, it just felt like a beating, man. It felt like an utter beating. I've never felt this scared in my life. Like, scared of actually losing my mind. Like, infinity was just everywhere and I couldn't stop it. I couldn't handle it. I couldn't make any sense of it. I couldn't make it into anything. My mind was just like obliterated, and wow. I was not ready for that. I was not at all expecting that. And mind you, I've done 5-MeO DMT, and that was intense. But that was shorter, man. Like, this lasted for like 6 or 7 hours of me not really knowing who I was, where I was, when I was, losing it, feeling the most like intense fear, confusion, despair, and like real feelings of psychosis I've ever felt in my whole fucking life. For 7 hours. For 7 hours, but it felt like lifetimes. Literally, because obviously it was eternal. I was in eternity. I would not send my worst enemies to where I went. So I got some kind of like downloading healing messages. It went through so many stages and layers and whatnot, but the downloads that I got was, I mean, in between the utter like disgust, like confusion, psychosis, like all of it. In between that, I got one message that was like, wow, you went through all of this. Like, I've never been so fucking afraid, scared for what seemed like so long in my whole entire life. I mean, I went through eternity of being scared. So, if I've been through that, I can go through anything, right? I got that, and that's beautiful, I guess. I mean, I'm still just coming off of it, so it's kind of like it's fucking ridiculous. Like, it's like a joke. It's like the worst joke. This is like the worst divine joke I've ever went through in my whole fucking life. Like, wow, my tongue is like, damn. Man, oh man. I thought I was gonna be in that forever, because it was forever. It was literally forever. I I kept hearing some sounds from like outside my window, but everything was just like this it was just like from this like creepy ass horror movie. Like language was just like distorted sounds, like everything was creepy. I was disgusted by reality. It showed me the absolute most bizarre, disgusting side of how it can be experienced. So it gets me so thankful for just if you will normal awakened consciousness, like the state that you're in when your like ego is kind of like stable. Wow, if that feels overwhelming and neurotic sometimes, this is just like, yeah, it's this times infinity. Infinity. Not 1,000, not 10,000, times infinity. Neurosis times infinity. How is that spiritual? How? How is that spiritual? Like, when it came on, like, I wasn't ready for that. Like, it came on, and it was like, I was nervous too. Um, I'm not gonna lie, I was definitely kind of like, yo, I'm about to dissolve, but I was ready for that. But this was such a blast. This was a blast. Like a rocket ship, sledgehammer, fucking Maserati engine, no, like infinite divine blast off. There was no way to stop it. I wasn't ready for it, so I got scared. I was like over and over, like surrender, breathe, uh, and like it came in waves, um, and it just got to you. Like your consciousness was just hijacked, and you were just like blasted off into infinity of. It was visual. It was a lot of different shapes and colors, and all of the, like what you always hear of. I've never seen those, so that was really intense and cool. But it got so overwhelming. Like I felt so lost. I felt so insignificantly powerless. I just felt the wrath, and I couldn't like nothing within me could like like couldn't make sense of anything or comprehend or and I was just like thrown around in infinity. Yeah, it was a divine joke for sure. And here I am, wondering where the day went. 6 or no, it's like 8 hours later now, I guess. I don't even know, to be honest. Wow. And I felt like I was dying, losing my mind, losing all sense of reference. Like, all sense of reference. Nothing. I couldn't hold on to anything for eternity. It was the most intense experience I've had in my life, without a doubt. And I did 5-MeO DMT. This was more intense. This was so much more intense. I was all alone, and I've never done mushrooms before. I did it all alone. I was I had a knowing within myself, like, you're ready for this. It's calling you. You are ready to let go and let God. But this, not even my wildest imagination, but this is the thing though, like, it's showing me. It's showing me, like, bro, like, what do you think this is? Like, your finite little fucking self. Like, who do you think you are? What are you holding on to? Like, this is what infinity looks like. By the way, like, this video, I'm making this video. I just pressed record, and this is what's coming out. This is part of my comprehending and, like, coming down off of the trip and, like, making sense of it, reflecting, and all of it. Like, I have no idea what I'm about to say. Like, this is just, listen, I have like a, it went through so many stages, and, like, I was even, like, at one point I was standing up like a like a fucking shaman. Like, I was banging my own body like a energy healer, like this, boom, 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 boom. Or I didn't do it. It was doing it. Like, it just happened. Like, I was just watching. I was standing in the mirror, and my hands were banging like it was energy release. Like, I could feel it. Like, it knew exactly where to go. It went down to the deepest root here, like, and I was just banging, like, boom, boom. I became red and shit, like, and I was just, at that point, I was just like, I was on some medicine man shit, like, it was the divine spirit from the ancestors. Like, I went through all of that. Like, I went through my death, and I stayed in death and in absolute void and in absolute confusion, despair, paranoia, lost, like, blown away. I was there for the most part. At first, I was in the fractals and, like, the infinite, like, dreamscape. I was there, came in, like, a few waves, and it was so intense that I was trying to eat this banana. Like, I could have a small bite because I wanted the sugar to, like, stop it a little bit, because it came on so fucking strong. And mind you, it was only 2.5 grams of albino, psilocybin. But it was, like, so strong, man. Like, whoa, blasting off, coming on. I, like, and then I was, like, kind of, like, opened my eyes. I was like, oh my god, I need some water. Went for some water. Like, barely could walk, barely. Couldn't control my body, couldn't control anything properly. And yeah, and after that, I have no idea how long that lasted. After that, probably that was, like, for the first hour. Then I was just lost in between all points of reference. I was just lost in there. That was the most scary, confusing experience. And again, like, how was that spiritual? How was it spiritual to witness your own psychosis? Go through your own death psychosis. I mean, literal ego death. Death of time and space. And I was like, I was in between realms, basically. I could snap into my body awareness, and then I was out in infinity. But it was never the love. It was never the love. It was just pure, pure, pure. Look, little you, how vast I am. And don't you fucking dare think that you are like, it was just putting me in my place, like, into my fucking toes, like, I was absolutely obliterated, like, I was just scraped down to nothingness for infinity. And I felt the wrath, man, like, I felt the wrath. And I was so scared. I was so fucking scared. I didn't cry. I was just confused, scared, like. And I got, like, it was one little episode there. I kept saying God a number of times, like, throughout this whole thing. God. That was all I could say. Like, it was God, but God was so strict. Like, God was not the warm embrace. God was very, very it left me very, very, oh my God, I have no words for this. God was so powerful. I literally felt feelings of absolute depression, suicidal. I felt so overwhelmed, scared and confused, and obliterated. I can't even say the word. I was just wiped out. I was wiped the fuck out, to the point where I felt feelings of absolute pointlessness, depression, emptiness, hollowness, grief. Yeah, the most deeply resonating negative emotions I've ever felt in my fucking life. They all just reverberated like this. Oh. For infinity. I was over and over again, I kept asking, how is this spiritual? How is this spiritual? How, God, in your divine name, is this spiritual? The holy sacred mushrooms of the ancestors of wisdom and knowledge and divine energy, how is this spiritual? How is this spiritual? How is this spiritual? Kept asking that. No answer. No fucking answer. It just felt like a bad, bad dream. I've never had a nightmare like this. Like, I haven't even dreamt a nightmare in years. In years. And this is like, it's been like an infinite, eternal nightmare. Of absolute divine wrath. I will keep my heart and mind open to receive the download, the answer, the embrace, the love, the insight, the wisdom of how this is spiritual. I'm still in it, guys. Like, I still feel the energy is like working through me. So this is not, this is very raw in the moment. And bear with me, like, I'm just gonna keep the camera rolling. How is all of this spiritual? God Almighty, the infinite creator of everything, infinite eternal consciousness, how is this experience? How is this what am I gonna get out of it? Wow, that's the ego asking. The ego is asking all these questions. How is this spiritual? Everything is fucking spiritual. What am I gonna get out of all of this? Who am the I? Because I wasn't any fucking I when I was in there. And it felt so unsafe, but so overwhelming. At one point, I felt the emotions of my terrified inner child, like absolutely terrified. All feelings of insecurity, self-consciousness, fear, and just unsafety. It was just so powerfully present. It was taking over my whole being. I was so fucking scared. And I felt memories connected to that, like I also got an instant where I felt the love for my brother, for my father and for my brother, very, very strong.